Europe's wild beauty, history etched in stone towns, and where turquoise seas shimmer beside rugged mountains. Albania is not just another country on the map, it is one of the last hidden gems of Europe. And in this journey, you will spend 7 incredible days exploring everything from lively cities to medieval castles, from white sand beaches to mysterious ruins. Get ready, because what you're about to experience is a travel story that will stay with you forever. Your adventure begins in Tirana, Albania's vibrant and colorful capital city. At first glance, Tirana may surprise you. It's not the kind of European city you expect. Instead of Gothic spires or polished boulevards, the streets burst with color. Many old communist-era buildings have been transformed into bright works of art, their facades painted with murals that stretch skyward. Life spills out from every cafe, every street corner, and every open market. It feels like the city itself is alive, inviting you to dive in and discover its soul. The beating heart of Tirana is Skanderbeg Square. Standing here, you are surrounded by some of the country's most important landmarks: the National History Museum, the Atembe Mosque, and the Opera House. At the center of it all stands the statue of Gjirokastër Skanderbeg, Albania's national hero, riding his horse proudly. The square feels like a crossroads of history and modern life, where students, families, and travelers come together in a shared rhythm. Step inside the National History Museum, and you will understand Albania on a deeper level. Its facade is decorated with a massive mosaic called the Albanians, depicting centuries of resilience and triumph. Inside, exhibits guide you through the timeline of this land, from the Illyrians and ancient Romans to Byzantine rulers, Ottoman sultans, and finally, the turbulent 20th century. Walking through these halls is like reading the diary of a nation that has fought for its identity again and again. But Tirana is not just about its past. The city pulses with a youthful energy that will catch you by surprise. Head into Bloku, once a restricted area where only the communist elite could enter, and now the liveliest district of Tirana. Today, it is full of trendy cafes, restaurants, and boutiques. The streets hum with laughter, music, and conversations that go on late into the night. Sitting in a street cafe, sipping a strong Albanian coffee, you'll feel the city's rhythm settle into your own heartbeat. And then there's the Dajti Mountain, watching over Tirana like a guardian. A quick ride on the Dajti Express cable car takes you to the top, where the chaos of the city fades into a breathtaking panorama. From here, the view stretches endlessly, the red roofs of Tirana below, green valleys rolling into the horizon, and the Adriatic Sea glimmering in the distance. It feels as though Albania is laying itself before you, inviting you to step further into its story. Tirana is a city of contrasts, where tradition meets modern life, where history blends with creativity, and where every street corner tells a new story. It is the perfect beginning to your 7-day adventure in Albania. Because here, in this vibrant capital, you get your first taste of a country that has been overlooked for too long but is finally ready to share its secrets with the world. This is only day 1. And if Tirana can surprise you this much, imagine what lies ahead: the medieval citadels, the coastal jewels, the forgotten ruins, and the untouched mountains. Albania is waiting, and your journey has just begun. What if I told you that just an hour away from Tirana lies a place where history breathes through every stone, where narrow cobblestone streets wind through wooden houses, and where an ancient fortress guards the memory of Albania's greatest hero? On your 2nd day in Albania, the journey takes you to Krujë, a city that feels like a living time capsule, suspended between the past and the present. As you approach Krujë, the first thing that captures your eyes is the castle, perched dramatically on a hilltop, overlooking the sweeping plains and the Adriatic Sea in the distance. It feels like a guardian watching over the land. And indeed, this fortress was once the stronghold of Gjirokastër Skanderbeg, the legendary Albanian warrior who resisted the mighty Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. To Albanians, Skanderbeg is not just a historical figure, he is a symbol of courage, freedom, and resilience. Standing at the entrance of Krujë Castle, you sense the weight of that history. These walls have seen sieges, victories, and the unyielding spirit of a people who refuse to be conquered. Inside the castle complex lies the Skanderbeg Museum, one of the most important cultural landmarks in Albania. Walking through its halls is like stepping into a hero's storybook. Weapons, armor, documents, and paintings recount the life and battles of Skanderbeg. You see his strategies, his alliances, and his defiance against one of the most powerful empires the world had ever known. For Albanians, this museum is a shrine to national pride, and for travelers, it's a chance to understand the soul of a country that fought endlessly for its independence. But history is not the only treasure of Krujë. Just below the castle, the old bazaar unfolds like a scene from centuries ago. This bazaar has been alive for hundreds of years, once a major trading hub along caravan routes that connected Europe with the Ottoman East. Today, it still feels authentic, with wooden stalls lining the cobblestone path, each one overflowing with handmade crafts, traditional clothing, copperware, and embroidered rugs. As you walk through, the air is filled with the scent of leather, wood, and spices. Merchants smile and greet you warmly, inviting you to browse. Every corner offers something unique: antique coins, old books, hand-woven carpets, and souvenirs that carry the essence of Albania's heritage. There's something magical about shopping here. Unlike the mass-produced items you find in big cities, everything in Krujë feels personal, as if each object carries a story. When you run your fingers over the intricate designs of a hand-woven rug or hold a piece of silver jewelry crafted by local artisans, you realize you're holding a piece of history that has survived through generations. Beyond its cultural treasures, Krujë also offers breathtaking views. From the castle walls, the panorama stretches across rolling hills, fertile plains, and shimmering coastlines. At sunset, the golden light paints the mountains and rooftops, creating a view so beautiful that it feels almost timeless. Sitting here, watching the horizon fade into night, you understand why Krujë has been called the City of Heroes. It is a place where Albania's story is written not only in history books, but also in the stones, the streets, and the spirit of its people. Your day in Krujë is not just a visit, it's an immersion into the core of Albania's identity. You've walked in the footsteps of Skanderbeg, touched the crafts of generations, and witnessed the pride of a nation that honors its past while embracing its present. As you leave the city, you can't help but feel transformed. Krujë is more than a destination. It's a reminder that Albania is a land where history is not forgotten, but celebrated, lived, and kept alive every single day. And tomorrow, your journey will take you deeper into this remarkable country, uncovering yet another hidden chapter in Albania's story. Imagine a city where ancient fortresses rise above glittering lakes, where every street whispers stories of kings and conquerors, and where tradition blends seamlessly with modern life. On your third day in Albania, your journey leads you north to Shkodër, one of the oldest cities in the Balkans, and a place often called the cultural heart of Albania. The road to Shkodër itself is a journey through beauty. As you leave Tirana behind, the landscape begins to change. Rolling green hills open up into wide valleys, and the closer you get to the north, the more dramatic the scenery becomes. Finally, the shimmering expanse of Shkodër Lake comes into view, the largest lake in the Balkans, stretching across both Albania and Montenegro. The water sparkles under the sunlight, surrounded by mountains that rise like natural guardians, reminding you that you've arrived in a land of legends. Shkodër is not just a city. It is a story that has been told for over 400 years. Its roots go back to the Illyrians, the ancient people who lived here long before the Romans set foot in these lands. Walking through Shkodër feels like peeling back layers of history. Narrow streets lined with pastel-colored houses and Ottoman-style architecture carry the charm of centuries past. Yet, at the same time, You'll find cafes buzzing with young energy, bicycle-lined boulevards, and a relaxed atmosphere that makes the city feel alive and modern. But the jewel of Shkodër is without doubt Rozafa Castle, a fortress that stands proudly above the city, watching over the lake, rivers, and valleys below. To reach it, you climb the hill where legends come alive. The most famous is the legend of Rozafa, a story of sacrifice and love. According to legend, when the castle was first being built, its walls kept collapsing. Finally, the builders decided that the only way to make the walls stand was to sacrifice someone. They agreed that whichever of their wives brought them food the next day would be chosen. Fate chose Rozafa, the youngest and kindest of them all. She accepted her destiny, but asked that one side of her body remain free so she could continue to cradle her baby and feed him even after being walled in. As you stand on the castle grounds, the legend feels real, as if Rozafa's spirit still lingers within the stone walls. From the top of the fortress, the view is breathtaking. Below you, the city stretches out, and beyond it, the lake shimmers like a silver mirror. You can see the Buna and Drin rivers winding their way through the land, and in the distance, the Albanian Alps rise majestically, promising adventures yet to come. It is a view that captures not just the beauty of Shkodër, but also the essence of northern Albania, a land of resilience, mystery, and unshakable spirit. Back in the city, Shkodër continues to charm with its cultural richness. A stroll down Colle Dromeno Street reveals a pedestrian avenue lined with Italian-style villas, cozy cafes, and art galleries. It is the perfect place to taste local flavors, from fresh pastries to traditional Albanian dishes like tavkosi or fergese. The people here are warm and welcoming, eager to share stories and traditions that have shaped their lives for centuries. Shkodër also carries the title of Albania's cultural capital, and for good reason. It is home to photography museums, traditional music, and festivals that celebrate art, history, and heritage. The city has always been a crossroads of civilizations, blending influences from Illyrians, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, and Ottomans. Each of these cultures left a mark, and you feel it in the architecture, the food, the language, and even in the rhythms of daily life. As evening falls, imagine yourself sitting at a lakeside restaurant, watching the sun set behind the mountains. The water glows golden, and the cool breeze carries the sound of laughter from nearby families. It is peaceful, timeless, and unforgettable. Shkodër invites you not just to visit, but to feel the weight of history, the warmth of culture, and the beauty of Albania's untamed north. By the end of your day in Shkodër, you realize why this city has been a center of life for millennia. It is more than just a stop on your itinerary. It is a window into the soul of northern Albania, a place where legends, landscapes, and living culture come together in harmony. And tomorrow, the road will take you even deeper into the mountains, to landscapes so wild and awe-inspiring that they will redefine everything you thought you knew about Albania. What if I told you there is a place in Albania where time slows down, where the mountains rise like giants, and where villages are tucked away in valleys so remote they feel untouched by the modern world? On day 4 of your journey, you step into the Albanian Alps, and here lies Theth, a village so breathtaking that many call it the crown jewel of northern Albania. The road to Theth is an adventure in itself. As you leave Shkodër behind, the landscape transforms dramatically. The plains give way to winding roads carved into the mountainside, with every turn revealing views that seem almost too beautiful to be real. The higher you climb, the more majestic the scenery becomes, sharp peaks piercing the sky, valleys blanketed in deep green forests, and rivers cutting through the land like silver threads. It feels like entering another world, one still raw and wild. When you finally arrive in Theth, it feels like you've discovered a hidden paradise. The village sits in a wide valley surrounded by towering mountains, each peak more dramatic than the last. Wooden houses with stone foundations dot the landscape, smoke rising gently from chimneys and fields stretch out where villagers tend their livestock. Life here is simple, and that is its magic. You're not just visiting a destination, you're stepping into a way of life that has been preserved for centuries. The heart of Theth is its iconic church, the Theth Church, standing quietly against the dramatic backdrop of mountains. Its simplicity is striking, a reminder of the faith and endurance of the people who have lived in this isolated valley for generations. Nearby, another symbol of the village's past stands tall, the Theth Tower, also known as the Lock-In Tower. Once used during the times of blood feuds to protect families, it is now a silent witness to history, telling stories of resilience and survival in Albania's rugged north. But Theth is not only about culture, it is about nature at its most spectacular. One of the most famous sights here is the Krujë waterfall. After a short hike along a scenic trail, you reach the cascade, where water tumbles down a cliff into a crystal-clear pool below. The air is cool and fresh, the sound of rushing water echoing through the valley. It is a place that feels both powerful and peaceful, a reminder of the untouched beauty of this land. For those who seek adventure, Theth offers some of the most unforgettable hiking in Albania. Trails lead you deep into the Albanian Alps, to places like the Blue Eye of Theth, a natural spring where turquoise water bubbles up from the ground, forming a pool so vividly blue. Eye of Theth, a natural spring where turquoise water bubbles up from the ground, forming a pool so vividly blue it looks unreal. The hike is long but rewarding, winding through forests, meadows, and rivers, until suddenly you find yourself at the edge of this magical natural wonder. Standing there, staring into the depths of the Blue Eye, you understand why people describe Theth as a place where nature still holds its secrets. Evenings in Theth carry their own charm. With no city lights to dim the sky, the stars appear brighter than you have ever seen. The silence of the mountains is broken only by the sound of crickets, the rustle of the wind, and the laughter of villagers sharing stories around a fire. You might stay in a traditional guest house, where hospitality is not just a custom but a way of life. Freshly baked bread, homemade cheese, and warm meals prepared with love remind you that in places like this, life is measured not by speed, but by connection. Theth is not simply a destination, it is an experience that stays in your heart. It teaches you to slow down, to listen to the mountains, to breathe in the crisp air, and to embrace simplicity. Here, you are reminded that the world's most beautiful places are not always the most accessible, but they are always the most rewarding. As you leave Theth, you carry with you more than memories. You carry the spirit of the Albanian Alps, the strength of its mountains, the purity of its rivers, and the warmth of its people. And with each step forward on your 7-day journey, Albania continues to reveal its secrets, proving that this country is a treasure unlike any other in Europe. Tomorrow, the road will take you back toward the coast, where yet another face of Albania awaits, sunlit, historic, and breathtaking in its own way. What if I told you there's a city in Albania so beautiful, so unique, that it has been named a UNESCO World Heritage Site? A place where history is written across every window, every stone, and every cobbled street? On day 5 of your journey, you arrive in Berat, famously known as the City of 1,000 Windows. This is not just another stop on your itinerary, it is one of Albania's most enchanting treasures. As you approach Berat, the view takes your breath away. White Ottoman houses cascade down the hillside, their large windows gazing toward the Osum River like watchful eyes. Above it all, Berat Castle sits proudly, a fortress that has stood for centuries, guarding the city below. The sight feels like stepping into a painting, a living masterpiece of history and architecture. Berat is a city where time seems to have stood still. Its nickname, the City of 1,000 Windows, comes from the striking way the houses are built into the hillside. Each one, with its tall windows and whitewashed walls, creates a stunning visual harmony that is unlike anything else in Europe. Walking through the old neighborhoods, you feel as though the past is still alive, whispering through the stones. One of the oldest and most fascinating districts is Mangalam. Here, narrow cobblestone streets wind between Ottoman-era houses, their wooden balconies overhanging the lanes below. Every turn reveals something new: an ancient archway, a hidden courtyard, a family-run shop where traditions are still alive. Across the river lies Gorica, another historic quarter connected to Mangalam by the elegant Gorica Bridge. Crossing this bridge feels symbolic, as though you're walking through centuries of Albanian history, connecting one story to another. But the crown jewel of Berat is its castle, also known as the Kallaja of Berat. Unlike many castles in Europe, Berat's fortress is not just a ruin, it is still alive. Families continue to live within its walls, carrying on traditions that have lasted for generations. As you climb up the cobbled path and pass through the ancient gates, you are entering not just a historical site, but a living community. Inside, you'll find stone houses, small chapels, and breathtaking views of the city below and the mountains beyond. It is one of the few places in the world where you can truly feel history and modern life blending seamlessly together. Berat is also rich in religious history. Within its castle walls are churches dating back to the Byzantine period, many adorned with frescoes that have survived for centuries. The Onufri Museum, located inside the Church of the Dormition of St. Mary, is dedicated to the famous 16th century Albanian iconographer Onufri. His vibrant, golden-hued icons are considered masterpieces, reflecting both faith and artistry at its finest. These works remind you that Albania, despite its turbulent past, has always been a land of creativity and resilience. And then there is the cuisine. No visit to Berat is complete without tasting the flavors of this region. Local dishes like stuffed peppers, grilled lamb, and fresh byrek connect you to Albania's culinary traditions, each bite carrying the warmth of generations. In the evenings, you can sit by the riverside, watching the reflection of the 1,000 windows shimmer on the water as the city lights begin to glow. It is a sight so magical that it feels like a dream. What makes Berat truly unforgettable, however, is not just its architecture or history, it is the feeling it gives you. The city has a calmness, a timeless beauty that invites you to slow down, to wander without hurry, and to lose yourself in its charm. It is a place where you don't just see history, you live it, you breathe it, and you carry it with you long after you leave. As your 5th day in Albania comes to an end, you realize that Berat is more than just a destination. It is a story told through windows, walls, and whispers of the past. A city that stands as a testament to Albania's ability to preserve its heritage while continuing to welcome the future. Tomorrow, your journey will take you to yet another wonder, southward toward Gjirokastër, the city of stone, where Albania's history continues to unfold in even more astonishing ways. What if I told you there's a city in Albania where every house looks like a fortress, where cobblestone streets climb steep hills, and where history feels carved into stone itself? On day 6 of your journey, you arrive in Gjirokastër, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, famously known as the City of Stone. This remarkable place is not just about architecture. It is about endurance, tradition, and the story of a people who built a city that feels eternal. The first thing that captures your attention in Gjirokastër is the way the houses dominate the hillside. With their stone walls, slate rooftops, and fortress-like designs, they look as if they were chiseled directly from the mountain. These are not ordinary homes, they are testaments to a unique architectural style that has survived for centuries. Walking through the old town, you feel like you're wandering through a living museum. Every corner, every stone, every step has a history attached to it. The jewel of the city is the mighty Gjirokastër Castle, one of the largest fortresses in the Balkans. Sitting high above the city, it has watched over the valley for more than 800 years. As you walk through its massive gates and explore its sprawling courtyards, you can almost hear the echoes of battles fought long ago. The castle is not just walls and towers, it's a keeper of Albania's memory. Inside, you'll find the National Museum of Armaments, which displays weapons from different eras, a reminder of the struggles and resilience of this land. The castle also houses a stage where Albania's national folk festival is held, filling the ancient walls with music, dance, and color, proving that even in a fortress built for war, culture and joy thrive. But Gjirokastër is not only about stone and strength, it is also about stories. One of the city's most famous sons was Ismail Kadare, Albania's most celebrated writer, whose novels brought the spirit of this place to the world. Walking the streets that inspired his works, you begin to see how Gjirokastër's layered history, dramatic landscapes, and enduring characters shaped its people. The old bazaar of Gjirokastër is another highlight. Restored to preserve its traditional charm, it is lined with shops offering handmade crafts, textiles, copperware, and wood carvings. Strolling through, you are immersed in the sounds of merchants, the sight of vibrant colors, and the scent of spices and fresh coffee. This is not just a market, it is the beating heart of the city, where traditions live on in every item sold and every story told. A visit to Gjirokastër is also a journey into the lives of its people. The Skendjeli House and the Zekate House, two well-preserved Ottoman-era mansions, open the door to another time. These houses are more than homes, they are fortresses designed for defense, with thick stone walls, secret passages, and beautifully decorated interiors. Inside, you see how families lived, how they balanced security with elegance, and how they built lives within walls that could withstand centuries. Beyond its historical treasures, Gjirokastër also offers breathtaking natural beauty. The valley below, with its fertile fields and winding rivers, stretches out in every direction, framed by the rugged mountains of southern Albania. From the castle, the view is endless, a reminder of why this city was built here: strategic, enduring, unshakable. As the sun sets, the stone houses of Gjirokastër glow in shades of gold and silver, their rooftops catching the fading light. The city grows quiet, and you feel the weight of history settling around you, gentle yet powerful. In this moment, you understand why Gjirokastër is called the City of Stone. It is not just because of its architecture, but because of its spirit, strong, resilient, and eternal. Your sixth day in Albania leaves you with a profound sense of awe. You have walked through centuries of history, touched the stones of ancient fortresses, and glimpsed the lives of people who built a city that endures against time. Tomorrow, your final day will take you to the coast, where Albania reveals yet another side of its beauty: sun-drenched beaches, turquoise waters, and the promise of relaxation after days of exploration. From stone cities to sandy shores, Albania's diversity will leave you breathless until the very end. What if I told you that the final stretch of your journey would lead you to a coastline so dazzling it feels like a secret slice of paradise? A place where the Ionian Sea glitters in shades of turquoise and sapphire, where hidden coves and sandy beaches rival the beauty of the Mediterranean's most famous destinations, yet remain blissfully untouched. On day 7 of your Albanian adventure, you arrive at the Riviera, the jewel of Albania's coast. And here, places like Sarande and Ksamil will show you why Albania is being called Europe's best-kept beach secret. As your journey winds southward, the landscape begins to change. The rugged mountains of Gjirokastër give way to rolling hills, olive groves, and finally the stunning coastline of the Ionian Sea. The road hugs the cliffs, offering views that will leave you speechless: endless stretches of turquoise water, small islands dotting the horizon, and beaches tucked away in hidden coves. Every bend in the road reveals a new postcard-perfect scene. Your first stop is Sarande, a lively seaside city that has become the gateway to the Albanian Riviera. With its palm-lined promenade, vibrant nightlife, and endless cafes overlooking the sea, Sarande captures the energy of summer in full swing. Yet, despite its growing popularity, it still feels relaxed and welcoming. You can stroll along the boulevard, watch the fishing boats return with their daily catch, or simply sit at a waterfront cafe with a glass of fresh pomegranate juice, soaking in the sun. But if Sarande is the gateway, Ksamil is the crown jewel. Just a short drive away, Ksamil is often compared to the Maldives for its powdery white sand and impossibly clear waters. Tiny islands sit just offshore, close enough that you can reach them by swimming or with a short boat ride. The beaches here are breathtaking, small, intimate, and surrounded by the kind of turquoise water that almost doesn't look real. When you dip your feet in, the water is warm and inviting, a perfect place to relax after days of exploring Albania's mountains and historic cities. But the Riviera is more than just beaches. It is also history and culture. Just north of Ksamil lies Butrint, another UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most fascinating archaeological sites in the Balkans. This ancient city was once a thriving settlement of the Greeks, then the Romans, and later the Byzantines. Walking through Butrint feels like traveling back in time through theaters, temples, basilicas, and ancient walls that have stood for over 2,000 years. Surrounded by lagoons and greenery, the site has an atmosphere of mystery and serenity, as if the past still lingers in the air. The Albanian Riviera is also about simple pleasures. Fresh seafood is a way of life here: grilled fish, mussels cooked in white wine, and octopus straight from the sea. Sitting at a beachside taverna, you'll taste flavors that connect you directly to the waters spread before you. The evenings are magical, too. As the sun sets, the Ionian Sea glows with shades of orange and pink, the islands casting long shadows across the water. Nightlife comes alive in Sarande, with music, dancing, and laughter carrying through the streets, while Ksamil offers a quieter, more intimate atmosphere under a blanket of stars. And yeah, beyond the popular spots, the Riviera hides endless secrets. Villages like Himarë and Dhërmi boast pristine beaches, winding stone streets, and churches perched high above the sea. Each one offers its own version of paradise, untouched, authentic, and waiting for travelers who want to discover Albania's quieter side. By the end of your 7th day, standing on a beach in Ksamil with the waves gently washing over your feet, you realize that Albania is a country of endless surprises. In just 1 week, you've gone from vibrant cities to mountain fortresses, from ancient legends to alpine valleys, and finally to beaches that rival the world's best. Albania has shown you its heart untamed, authentic, and unforgettable. This is not the end of your journey. In fact, Albania leaves you with something rare. The feeling that you've discovered a place before the rest of the world. A secret you'll carry with you, one that will call you back again and again. And when you do return, Albania will be waiting with more stories, more beauty, and more adventures that you haven't yet dreamed of. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to walk through a city where civilizations have risen and fallen for thousands of years, leaving behind silent ruins that still whisper their stories? On your 8th chapter of exploring Albania, you step into Butrint, one of the most extraordinary archaeological sites in Europe, and a place where history, nature, and myth intertwine seamlessly. Butrint is not just a ruin, it is a living memory. This UNESCO World Heritage Site lies just a short drive from Ksamil, set in a lush landscape of lagoons, wetlands, and green hills. It is said that Butrint was founded by the Trojans who fled after the fall of Troy, and though legend weaves its own story, the truth is equally fascinating. This ancient city has been home to Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, and Ottomans, each leaving their mark on the land. Walking through its ruins is like traveling through the timeline of human history. The first thing that greets you is the old Venetian tower, rising above the marshlands, a reminder that this city once guarded strategic trade routes. As you continue, you find yourself in the Greek theater, a perfectly preserved structure carved into the hillside. Imagine the sound of ancient plays performed here, the audience filling the stone seats, laughter and drama echoing across the valley. Even today, the theater is sometimes used for cultural events, bringing life back to these ancient stones. Nearby stands the Roman Forum, where political debates once shaped the destiny of the city. Temples, altars, and mosaics remain, their details still visible despite centuries of wear. Each step carries you deeper into the layers of Butrint's history. The baptistery, with its intricate mosaic floors, is one of the most striking remains of the Byzantine period. Standing here, looking at the circular patterns of doves and vines, you can't help but feel the artistry and devotion of the people who built it over 500 years ago. Butrint is also unique because it is embraced by nature. Unlike many archaeological sites that stand alone in barren fields, Butrint feels alive. Birds soar overhead, the wetlands shimmer in the sun, and the air is filled with the scent of pine and wildflowers. The city seems to merge with its environment, as if nature itself has become a guardian of its memory. It's no wonder that Butrint feels almost spiritual, a place where human history and natural beauty exist side by side. One of the most moving experiences in Butrint is walking through the Lion Gate, one of the city's main entrances. The name comes from a relief of a lion devouring a bull carved into the stone. Passing through, you feel the weight of history pressing down thousands of years of people, kings, soldiers, merchants, and pilgrims have walked the same path you are walking now. As you continue deeper into the ruins, you discover the ancient basilica, with its towering stone walls still standing against time. It once echoed with hymns, prayers, and the voices of early Christians. The mixture of Greek temples, Roman baths, Byzantine churches, and Venetian fortresses, all within one site, is astonishing. It shows how Butrint was not just a city, but a crossroads of civilizations. Visiting Butrint is more than sightseeing. It is stepping into a world where time has folded in on itself. Every stone, every broken column, every mosaic is part of a story that stretches back thousands of years. And unlike crowded ruins in other parts of the world, Butrint offers peace and space. You can wander slowly, sit beneath the shade of ancient olive trees, and imagine what life must have been like when this city was alive with voices, trade, and culture. By the end of your day in Butrint, you realize that Albania is more than mountains and beaches. It is also a land of legends and civilizations that shaped history itself. Butrint is a reminder that Albania is not just a destination for travelers seeking beauty, but for explorers seeking meaning. Tomorrow, your adventure will continue along the coast as you uncover more hidden gems of the Albanian Riviera. But today, standing among the ruins of Butrint, you feel connected not just to Albania, but to the very roots of human civilization itself. What if I told you that some of the most beautiful beaches in Europe are not in Spain, Italy, or Greece, but hidden along the Albanian Riviera, where turquoise waters meet dramatic cliffs and timeless villages? On this day of your journey, you explore Himarë and Dhërmi, two coastal gems that feel like stepping into paradise while still carrying the authentic soul of Albania. The road to Himarë itself is an adventure. As you drive along the winding coastal highway, the Ionian Sea stretches endlessly beside you, its shades of blue shifting with the sun. Olive groves and citrus orchards dot the hills, and every turn reveals a new panorama more breathtaking than the last. When you finally arrive in Himarë, the first thing you notice is its calm, laid-back atmosphere. Unlike the crowded Mediterranean resorts elsewhere, Himarë still feels raw and untouched, a place where time slows down. The town sits between the sea and the mountains, offering both beaches and history. Himarë Castle, perched high on a hill, is a must-visit. From its ancient walls, the view sweeps across the coastline, the whitewashed houses below, and the endless horizon. Walking through the ruins, you sense the layers of history: Greek settlers, Byzantine rulers, Ottoman influence, all of them leaving their mark on this coastal town. Inside the castle grounds, little chapels and stone alleys create an almost medieval atmosphere. It's quiet, it's haunting, and it's absolutely mesmerizing. But Himarë is not only about history, it's also about the sea. Its beaches are calm and inviting, perfect for swimming or just relaxing under the warm Albanian sun. Spill Beach, with its crystal clear water and golden sand, is a local favorite, while nearby smaller coves offer peace and privacy for those who want to escape. The seafood here is another highlight. Restaurants by the water serve freshly caught fish, octopus, and shrimp, cooked simply but with flavors that capture the essence of the sea. Dining in Himarë feels less like eating out and more like sharing a meal with the land and the water around you. Just a short drive away lies Dhërmi, one of the most enchanting coastal villages in Albania. Dhërmi is famous for its white stone houses with blue windows, cascading down the hillside toward the sea. Walking through its narrow alleys, you're greeted by the scent of wildflowers and the sound of distant waves. The village feels almost suspended between the past and present, where tradition blends with the relaxed rhythm of coastal life. But it is Dhërmi's beaches that truly take your breath away. Imagine stretches of soft white sand, kissed by water so blue it almost doesn't seem real. Dhërmi Beach itself is long and inviting, but it's the smaller, hidden coves nearby like Gjip Beach that leave the strongest impression. Gjip is not easy to reach. You must hike or take a boat, but once you arrive, you find yourself standing in a canyon that opens onto the sea. Towering cliffs rise on both sides, and the beach is untouched, wild, and unforgettable. It feels like a secret world reserved only for those willing to seek it. In the evenings, Dhërmi transforms into something magical. The sun dips low, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, while the sea mirrors the colors in shimmering waves. The village comes alive with music, laughter, and the gentle hum of conversation. Whether you choose to sip coffee in a quiet square or join in a lively beach bar, there is a sense of joy in Dhërmi that is contagious. It is the kind of place where strangers quickly become friends, and every night feels like a celebration of life itself. Himarë and Dhërmi together capture the dual spirit of the Albanian Riviera, authentic history and culture on one hand, raw natural beauty on the other. They remind you that Albania is not just a country you visit, but a country you feel. Every view, every taste, every sound leaves an imprint on your heart. As you rest at the end of the day, listening to the waves crashing softly against the shore, you realize that this part of Albania is not just a destination. It is a memory in the making, one that you will carry with you long after you leave. And tomorrow, the journey will lead you even further along the coast, uncovering more of the Riviera's hidden treasures. Imagine a place where the mountains seem to touch the sky, where clouds drift so close you feel you could reach out and grab them, and then suddenly, the land falls away into a dazzling coastline where the sea glitters like liquid sapphire. This is the experience of crossing the Llogara Pass, one of Albania's most breathtaking journeys and a highlight of your adventure through the country. The road to Llogara is more than just a highway. It's a ribbon of asphalt carved into the mountains, winding through forests, cliffs, and steep valleys. As your car climbs higher, the air grows cooler and fresher, scented with pine and wild herbs. The views shift constantly. One moment you're surrounded by dense woodland, the next you're staring into an endless horizon where the Ionian Sea crashes against rocky shores far below. Every bend in the road feels like opening a new chapter in a story written by nature itself. At its highest point, Llogara Pass reaches more than 0 meters above sea level. Standing at a viewpoint here, you see one of Albania's most iconic panoramas, the Albanian Riviera unfolding in a sweeping arc of turquoise water, white beaches, and rugged mountains cascading down to the sea. It's a sight that takes your breath away, a reminder of how small we are compared to the grand design of the earth. No photo or video can fully capture it. You simply have to be here, feeling the wind in your face, listening to the silence of the mountains broken only by the distant cry of eagles. But Llogara is not just about the drive or the views. The pass lies within Llogara National Park, a protected area rich in biodiversity. Pine and fir trees stretch across the slopes. Wild flowers bloom in the meadows, and rare wildlife still roams the forest. Hikers can explore trails that lead deeper into this wilderness, where each step brings new discoveries, hidden springs, grazing goats, or the simple serenity of being far away from the noise of the world. For travelers seeking adventure, Llogara is also a popular spot for paragliding. Imagine leaping from the cliffs and soaring like a bird, drifting high above the coastline with the sea sparkling beneath you. It is an adrenaline rush and a moment of pure freedom. Along the way, small mountain lodges and restaurants invite you to pause and taste the flavors of the region. Here, the food is hearty and comforting, perfect after a day of travel. Local specialties like slow-cooked lamb, fresh dairy, and wild honey reflect the richness of the land. Eating in Llogara feels like sharing a meal with the mountain itself, simple, honest, and nourishing. But perhaps the most unforgettable moment comes as you descend from the pass toward the coast. The road snakes downward in a dramatic series of curves, each turn revealing another breathtaking view. And then, like a secret unveiled, the Riviera appears in all its glory. The beaches of Palisades stretch out in a wide crescent, the water so blue it looks unreal. The cliffs rise sharply from the shoreline, their jagged edges softened by the glow of the setting sun. It is a dramatic transition from the cool silence of the mountains to the warmth and sparkle of the sea below. Travelers often describe the Llogara Pass as a journey that captures the essence of Albania itself, wild, dramatic, and full of surprises. It is not just a road, but a gateway connecting two worlds: the rugged mountains that guard the country's heart and the shining Riviera that opens to the endless sea. Crossing it, you feel a sense of movement, not only through space, but also through time, as if you are experiencing centuries of history, nature, and culture all at once. By the time you reach the bottom, standing at the edge of Palisades Beach or gazing back up at the mountains you just crossed, you know this is a memory you will carry forever. The Llogara Pass is not simply something you see, it is something you live. And as your journey continues, you realize that each day in Albania brings a new wonder, a new story, and a new reason to fall in love with this land. Tomorrow, the coast will call you again, leading you toward villages, coves, and sunsets that feel like dreams. But tonight, the image of the mountains meeting the sea will stay with you, a reminder of just how extraordinary this country truly is. There are beaches in Europe that everyone talks about, crowded, commercialized, and polished for tourists. But then, there are places like Palisades and Gjirokastër, where the land still feels raw, untouched, and breathtakingly beautiful. These two jewels of the Albanian Riviera are more than just stretches of sand. They are sanctuaries where sea and sky merge into a dream, where every wave whispers freedom, and where time itself seems to slow down. As you leave the heights of Llogara Pass behind, the road opens to reveal Palisades Beach, a vast expanse of white pebbles stretching along the turquoise Ionian Sea. Standing here, you realize why travelers often describe Palisades as one of the purest beaches in Albania. The water is so clear that you can see every pebble beneath the surface, every ripple as sunlight dances across the seabed. Unlike the crowded resorts of the Mediterranean, Palisades remains quiet and serene, a place where nature rules, and you are simply a guest in its kingdom. But Palisades is more than just beauty. It carries history too. Legends say Julius Caesar once landed near here during his campaign, leaving behind a story etched into the coastline. Imagine him stepping onto these very shores, gazing up at the same cliffs that rise dramatically behind the beach. That sense of timelessness still lingers, as though the waves themselves have carried whispers of the past across centuries. For travelers, Palisades is the perfect place to rest and recharge. Here you can spend the day swimming in crystalline waters, walking along the endless shore, or lying back beneath the Albanian sun as the mountains stand guard behind you. The contrast is mesmerizing, the rugged cliffs towering over the calm, clear sea, creating a scene so striking it feels like a painting brought to life. And as the day fades, the sunsets at Palisades are unforgettable. The sky explodes into shades of pink, orange, and violet, reflecting across the water like liquid fire. It is a moment where silence speaks louder than words. Just a short drive away lies another treasure of the Riviera Gjirokastër beach. Where Palisades offers peace and grandeur, Gjirokastër is vibrant, energetic, and alive. This crescent-shaped bay has become a favorite for younger travelers, adventurers, and those who seek not only relaxation but also connection. Gjirokastër is where music festivals light up the night, where beach bars glow with lanterns, and where laughter carries across the water long after the sun has disappeared. But even in its lively spirit, Gjirokastër never loses its charm. The water is just as impossibly clear, the shoreline just as inviting. It is the kind of place where you can spend the afternoon diving into the sea, then gather with friends around a bonfire on the sand. Whether you come for solitude or celebration, Gjirokastër has a way of making you feel alive, reminding you that travel is not just about the places you see, it's about the moments you live. The beauty of both Palasë and Gjirokastër is how they reflect two sides of the Albanian Riviera. One side is calm, timeless, and pure, where the sea and mountains stand in harmony. The other is dynamic, youthful, and full of energy, where people gather to celebrate life under the stars. And yet, both belong to the same coastline, only minutes apart, offering travelers the chance to experience both serenity and joy in a single day. As you wander these beaches, you begin to understand what makes Albania so special. It is not just the landscapes, though they are extraordinary. It is the balance, the contrasts, and the sense that here, the world has not yet been polished into sameness. Albania still feels authentic, still feels real. And in places like Palasë and Gjirokastër, you are reminded that sometimes the best destinations are not the ones that everyone talks about, but the ones that quietly take your breath away. By nightfall, as the stars spread across the sky and the waves crash gently against the shore, you realize that Palasë and Gjirokastër are not simply beaches. They are experiences, chapters in your journey that you will carry long after the trip is over. Whether it's the stillness of watching the sunset at Palasë or the laughter of sharing a midnight swim at Gjirokastër, these moments become part of your story. And in the end, that is what travel is truly about. Tomorrow, the road will lead you deeper along the Riviera, toward villages carved into cliffs and secret coves where the sea glows like glass. But tonight, as you stand with the sand beneath your feet and the endless sea before you, you know you are exactly where you are meant to be. Some towns leave an impression because of their beauty. Others stay with you because of their history. But Himarë is different. It lingers in your memory because it blends both so seamlessly, like a story written in stone, sea, and sky. This small coastal town along the Albanian Riviera is where ancient fortresses overlook turquoise bays, where narrow alleyways echo with the footsteps of generations, and where modern life flows gently against a backdrop of timeless tradition. As you approach Himarë, the first thing that catches your eye is the dramatic coastline. The Ionian Sea glistens in shades of blue so deep and pure it feels almost unreal. Beaches curve along the bay, dotted with fishing boats and framed by mountains that rise like protective guardians. But Himarë is not just about its coastal beauty, it is about layers of history that whisper from every stone. High above the modern seaside town stands the Himarë Castle, a fortress dating back to ancient times. Climbing the winding path to its gates feels like traveling through centuries. Once inside, the ruins stretch across the hilltop, with crumbling walls, Byzantine churches, and Ottoman-era remnants all woven together. From the castle, the view of the sea is breathtaking, waves stretching endlessly toward Greece, islands scattered like jewels on the horizon, and the villages of the Riviera scattered below. You can almost feel the weight of the centuries here. The battles fought, the lives lived, the stories etched into the stones. Yet Himarë is not only about the past. Down in the town, life moves at a slower pace, offering the warmth and simplicity of coastal Albanian culture. Along the promenade, locals gather in cafes, sipping strong coffee or raki as the sun glows on the water. Children play on the beach, while fishermen mend their nets in quiet corners. Tourists blend in easily, welcomed by a hospitality that feels both genuine and effortless. Here, there is no rush, only the rhythm of the waves guiding the day. One of Himarë's most charming features is its old town, a maze of narrow stone streets lined with traditional houses. Some stand abandoned, their shutters closed, their walls cracked, whispering of lives once lived. Others have been lovingly restored, with flowers spilling from balconies and families keeping traditions alive. Walking here, you feel like time has slowed down, inviting you to pause and imagine what life might have been like hundreds of years ago. But Himarë is not only history and reflection, it is also about relaxation and discovery. The town is surrounded by stunning beaches, each with its own character. Levadi Beach is long and spacious, perfect for a day of swimming and sunbathing. Spil Beach, right in town, offers easy access and vibrant energy. For something more secluded, you can explore nearby coves where the water is so clear you can see the fish darting below. Every beach feels like a secret gift, each sunset painting the sky with colors that leave you in awe. And then there is the food. In Himarë, dining is an experience that connects you to the land and the sea. Freshly caught fish, grilled to perfection, plates of olives, cheese, and vegetables harvested from nearby farms. The flavors are simple yet rich, reminding you that Albania's charm lies in its authenticity. Dining by the sea as the waves lap gently against the shore is not just a meal, it's a memory you will treasure forever. Himarë also serves as a gateway to nearby adventures. From here, you can journey to hidden villages perched in the mountains, or set out by boat to discover secret beaches only accessible from the sea. The sense of discovery never ends. Every path leads to something new. Every turn holds a surprise waiting to be uncovered. What makes Himarë truly unforgettable, though, is the feeling it leaves behind. It is not just a destination to check off your list. It is a place that feels alive, where history and beauty embrace, where every sunset seems personal, and where the kindness of the people makes you feel like you belong. As night falls, the town glows softly under the stars. The sea reflects the moonlight. The waves sing their eternal song, and the castle watches silently from above, as it has for centuries. In Himarë, time slows, memories deepen, and the journey feels like it has touched something greater than yourself. Tomorrow, the road will carry you further along the Albanian Riviera, toward yet more breathtaking landscapes and stories. But tonight, Himarë stays with you, a chapter of beauty, history, and soul, forever etched into your heart. Some places feel like they belong in a legend, where history and mystery intertwine to create an atmosphere you can almost touch. Porto Palermo is one of those places. As you approach this small bay along the Albanian Riviera, the water glimmers in hues of sapphire and emerald, calm and inviting. But rising above the sea, on a small peninsula, stands a fortress that seems to defy time itself. Ali Pasha's castle, a monument to ambition, power, and secrecy. The story of Ali Pasha, often called the Lion of Ioannina, is as dramatic as the fortress he built. In the 19th century, Ali Pasha ruled over much of Albania and northern Greece with both ruthless, cunning, and visionary leadership. He was both feared and admired, a man who defied empires and carved out his own dominion. Porto Palermo was his hidden jewel, a naval stronghold built not only for defense but also as a symbol of his authority. Standing on the fortress walls, you can feel his presence still, as though the stones themselves remember the man who dreamed of ruling a world beyond his grasp. The castle itself is triangular in design, its thick stone walls stretching outward like a protective shield. From above, it resembles a star, a testament to its strategic purpose. Walking through its arched corridors and dark chambers, you can almost hear the echoes of soldiers' footsteps, the clang of weapons, and the hushed whispers of plans hatched in secrecy. Narrow windows cut through the walls, once used by guards to watch the bay for approaching ships. Today, they frame views so beautiful it's hard to imagine they were once lookout points in times of war. But Porto Palermo is not just about history. Step outside the fortress, and you are greeted with one of the most peaceful and stunning bays in all of Albania. The water is unbelievably clear, reflecting shades of blue and green that shift with the light. It is easy to see why Ali Pasha chose this place. It is naturally hidden, a harbor, both safe and secret, sheltered by the surrounding mountains. Even today, the bay feels like a sanctuary, untouched and serene. For travelers, Porto Palermo offers more than sightseeing, it offers an experience. You can walk along the shoreline, Dip your feet into the cool Ionian waters, or simply sit in silence, listening to the waves as they brush against the rocks. The quiet here is profound, broken only by the cries of seabirds circling overhead. It feels like stepping out of time, like being part of a story much larger than yourself. There is also a sense of mystery tied to the place. During the Cold War, the area around Porto Palermo was used as a military base by the communist regime, and stories still circulate about hidden tunnels, secret operations, and abandoned structures scattered across the hills. This adds another layer to the already fascinating history, reminding you that every chapter of Albania's past is written into its landscapes. As the day draws on, the castle takes on a new life. In the late afternoon, when the sun begins to sink lower in the sky, the fortress glows with golden light. The shadows deepen, the water sparkles more vividly, and the whole scene becomes almost dreamlike. Watching the sunset from Porto Palermo is unforgettable. The castle silhouetted against the horizon, the sea shimmering with fire, and the quiet promise of the night descending over the bay. But beyond its beauty, Porto Palermo also leaves you with reflection. Ali Pasha's fortress stands as both a reminder of power and its limits. He built this place as a testament to his vision, yet he could not escape the fate that met him: betrayal and downfall. And yet, centuries later, his legacy endures in the stones of this fortress and the stories that continue to captivate travelers. To walk through Porto Palermo is to walk between past and present, between legend and reality. It is not just a stop along the Riviera, it is a place where Albania's soul is laid bare, raw and poetic, fierce yet gentle, mysterious yet welcoming. When you leave, the image of the castle will stay in your mind, rising above the sparkling bay like a guardian of secrets. Porto Palermo is not just a chapter in your Albanian journey, it is a memory carved into your imagination, one you will carry long after the waves have faded into silence. Some journeys lead you to places that feel alive, where the sea, the streets, and the people all move with the same rhythm. Sarande is one such place, a coastal jewel on the Ionian Sea that dazzles with energy, charm, and beauty. Known as the capital of the Albanian Riviera, Sarande is not just a destination, it's an experience that captures the soul of southern Albania. As you approach the city, the first thing that greets you is the stunning curve of its bay. The water here is unbelievably blue, shimmering under the Mediterranean sun. Tall palm trees sway along the seaside promenade. Cafes spill onto the streets with the aroma of fresh seafood and coffee. And laughter fills the air as locals and travelers alike enjoy the easy rhythm of coastal life. Sarande feels like a blend of tradition and modernity, a city that has embraced tourism while never letting go of its authentic Albanian heart. At the heart of Sarande lies its vibrant promenade. Stroll along the waterfront, and you'll find endless life, children playing, fishermen returning with their catch, and couples walking hand in hand as the sea breeze wraps around them. The promenade isn't just a walkway, it's the heartbeat of the city, alive with music, street vendors, and the irresistible pull of the Ionian waves. As the sun sets, the lights of Sarande flicker to life, reflecting on the water and creating a scene so magical it feels like a painting in motion. But Sarande is more than just a pretty seaside town. High above the city, perched on a hill, stands the Llogara Castle, a fortress that has guarded this bay for centuries. The climb to the top rewards you with a panoramic view that is simply unforgettable. The curve of Sarande's coastline, the shimmering expanse of the Ionian Sea, and in the distance, the faint outline of Corfu, the Greek island that lies just across the water. The castle itself is a reminder of Sarande's strategic importance, but today, it's also a place where visitors gather to watch the sun dip into the horizon, painting the sea in shades of orange, gold, and purple. No trip to Sarande would be complete without tasting its food. The city's restaurants serve some of the freshest seafood in the country: grilled octopus, fried calamari, mussels steamed in white wine, and shrimp cooked with olive oil and garlic. Each dish carries the flavors of the Ionian, simple yet rich, a true celebration of Albania's culinary traditions. Pair your meal with a glass of local white wine, and you'll understand why Sarande's cuisine is as unforgettable as its views. Sarande also acts as the perfect base for exploring the wonders of southern Albania. Just a short drive away are beaches that rival the Caribbean, villages that seem frozen in time, and natural wonders that leave you speechless. Ksamil, with its white sand and turquoise waters, is only minutes away. The ancient ruins of Butrint, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, lie nearby, waiting to reveal their secrets. This makes Sarande not only a destination but also a gateway to adventures that stretch far beyond the city limits. Yet, despite all its attractions, Sarande's true magic lies in its atmosphere. There is a warmth here, not just from the sun but from the people. The hospitality of Albanians shines brighter in Sarande, where locals welcome visitors like family, sharing stories, traditions, and the unshakable pride they feel for their homeland. It is this warmth that transforms Sarande from a beautiful city into an unforgettable experience. As night falls, the city transforms once again. Music drifts from the bars and restaurants along the promenade. Lights shimmer across the bay, and the sea reflects the stars above. The city hums with energy, a perfect blend of relaxation and celebration. Whether you choose to sit quietly by the water or join the lively crowds in the city center, Sarande at night leaves an imprint on your heart. Sarande is not just a stop on your 7-day journey. It is a highlight, a chapter that encapsulates everything Albania has to offer: breathtaking landscapes, rich history, delicious cuisine, and a spirit that welcomes every traveler. When you leave, the memory of Sarande's golden sunsets and the sound of its waves will stay with you, calling you back again and again. What if I told you that paradise isn't thousands of miles away in the Pacific or the Caribbean, but right here on the shores of Albania? Imagine a place where the water is so clear you can see the sand beneath your feet, where tiny islands sit like emerald jewels in turquoise seas, and where every corner feels untouched, pure, and magical. Welcome to Ksamil, the crown jewel of the Albanian Riviera and one of Europe's most breathtaking coastal destinations. From the moment you arrive, Ksamil feels different. The beaches here are small, intimate, and wrapped in soft white sand. The sea glows with shades of blue so bright, it's hard to believe they're real. It's no wonder Ksamil is often compared to exotic destinations like the Maldives or Bora Bora. Yet here, it remains quieter, more authentic, and free from overwhelming crowds. One of Ksamil's most unique treasures lies just offshore, 4 small islands scattered like secrets across the water. Rent a kayak, a paddle boat, or even swim across the shallow channels, and you'll find yourself exploring uninhabited islets where time seems to stand still. These islands, with their untouched greenery and hidden coves, feel like your own private world. From their shores, the view back to Ksamil is stunning, the village framed against the endless horizon of the Ionian Sea. But Ksamil is not only about beauty, it is about moments. Imagine sitting at a beachside restaurant, your toes in the sand, as a plate of fresh grilled fish, mussels, or shrimp arrives before you. The taste is simple yet unforgettable, enhanced by the salt in the air and the gentle sound of waves lapping against the shore. Every meal here feels like part of the experience, whether it's seafood straight from the fishermen's boats or locally grown olives and citrus fruits that carry the sunshine of Albania in every bite. The atmosphere of Ksamil is relaxed, slow, and deeply soothing. Unlike other destinations that rush you from one attraction to another, Ksamil invites you to stop, breathe, and simply exist. Swim in the crystal waters, sunbathe on the soft sands, or sip a cold drink while watching the boats drift across the horizon. Time here flows differently, and every second feels like a gift. Yet, there's another layer of magic in Ksamil, its location. Just a short drive away lies Butrint, the ancient city that tells the story of thousands of years of history. So, in one day, you can step from swimming in paradise waters to walking through ruins once touched by Greeks, Romans, and Byzantines. Few places in the world offer such a seamless blend of natural beauty and cultural depth. As the day winds down, Ksamil becomes even more enchanting. The setting sun paints the sky with hues of pink, orange, and purple, while the sea reflects the colors like a giant mirror. Families gather on the shore, children laugh as they play in the sand, and couples sit quietly, lost in the beauty of the moment. The energy is calm, yet alive, filled with the unspoken understanding that this place is truly special. At night, Ksamil slows down even more. The sound of the waves replaces the buzz of the day, and the stars shine brightly above, unspoiled by city lights. It is here, sitting by the sea, under the Albanian night sky, that you realize Ksamil is more than just a destination. It is a feeling of peace, of wonder, of being exactly where you are meant to be. Ksamil will change the way you see Albania. It will remind you that true beauty is often found in the simplest things. In clear water, soft sand, good food, and quiet moments. It is the kind of place you never want to leave, and even when you do, it stays with you like the memory of a dream you'll carry forever. So when people tell you that paradise is far away, you'll know the truth. It's right here, in Ksamil, waiting to welcome you with open arms and waters as blue as the sky itself. Have you ever walked through a place where every stone, every broken column, and every archway whispers the secrets of thousands of years? A place where you can feel the footsteps of Romans, Greeks, Byzantines, and Venetians layered one upon another, all within a single breathtaking site? Welcome to Butrint, Albania's most important archaeological treasure, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site that feels like stepping into an ancient world preserved in time. Butrint is more than ruins. It is a living memory of civilizations that rose and fell, each leaving behind traces of their greatness. As you enter the site, surrounded by wetlands and lush greenery, you are transported into another era. The journey begins with the ancient walls, some built by the Greeks over 2,000 years ago, later reinforced by Romans, and then again by Venetians. These layers of history show how Butrint was not just a city, but a crossroads of empires, a place too valuable to ever be forgotten. One of the first marvels you encounter is the Greek theater, still remarkably preserved. Imagine sitting on the stone seats as the sun rises, picturing performances that once entertained audiences centuries ago. The stage, the seating, and the backdrop of the surrounding forest all combine to create an atmosphere that feels surreal. Here, history doesn't feel distant, it feels alive, almost within reach. Walking deeper into Butrint, the remains of Roman baths, mosaics, and basilicas reveal the grandeur of the city at its peak. The baptistery, with its intricate mosaic floors, is one of the most impressive features, though many of its delicate patterns remain covered for protection. Even so, the thought that these designs were created over 1,000 years ago stirs something deep inside, a reminder of the creativity and artistry of ancient civilizations. The heart of Butrint is its Byzantine basilica, where towering arches and columns still stand tall. Though centuries of time and weather have worn them down, they continue to inspire awe. Standing inside the basilica, you can almost hear the echoes of prayers and chants that once filled the sacred space, carrying across the city and out toward the Ionian Sea. But Butrint is not only about monuments, it is about its setting. Surrounded by a lagoon and wetlands, the site is alive with nature. Birds soar above, the water glimmers in the sunlight, and the air feels fresh and calm. It is a rare combination, a place where history and nature coexist in perfect harmony. As you wander the trails shaded by ancient trees, you realize that this city, once bustling with people, is now at peace, reclaimed by the earth yet still telling its story. One of the most striking features is the Lion Gate, a stone-carved relief of a lion devouring a bull, believed to symbolize power and protection. Passing through it feels symbolic. You are not just entering another part of the ruins, but stepping deeper into the heartbeat of the city itself. Nearby, The Venetian tower stands as a reminder of later centuries, watching over the waters like a guardian. What makes Butrint so extraordinary is not only its history but its atmosphere. Unlike crowded ruins in other parts of the world, Butrint is tranquil. The paths are quiet. The ruins are surrounded by green landscapes, and there's a sense of intimacy. You are not just visiting an archaeological site, you are discovering it for yourself. Walking in silence, where once entire civilizations thrived. As the sun begins to set, Butrint transforms into something almost magical. Golden light falls on the ancient stones, the lagoon shimmers with reflections, and shadows stretch across the ruins. It feels as if time itself slows down, as if the city remembers and invites you to remember with it. Leaving Butrint is not easy. There is a weight to the place, not of sadness, but of reverence. You walk away knowing you've touched something eternal, something that carries the memory of thousands of years. Butrint is not just about Albania, it is about humanity itself, a reminder that civilizations rise, fall, and yet their stories remain, carved in stone for us to find. Butrint will stay with you. Its ruins, its stories, its silence, all will echo long after you've left. And as you continue your journey through Albania, you'll realize that Butrint is not just a stop on your itinerary, but a highlight of your life. Have you ever walked into a city that feels like a living museum? A place where the streets are paved with history, where stone houses rise like fortresses, and where every corner seems to whisper tales from centuries past? Welcome to Gjirokastër, the stone city of Albania, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that looks like it was carved straight out of the mountain itself. From the moment you arrive, Gjirokastër takes your breath away. Built on the slopes of the Drino Valley, the city is a masterpiece of Ottoman-era architecture. Narrow cobblestone streets wind through clusters of slate-roofed houses, each one resembling a small castle. These homes, with their stone walls and distinctive tower-like designs, have stood for hundreds of years, bearing witness to Albania's turbulent and fascinating past. The crown jewel of the city is the mighty Gjirokastër Castle, perched high above, watching over the valley below. As you climb up toward the fortress, the air feels heavy with stories of battles, kings, and revolutionaries. Inside, the castle reveals its grandeur, massive stone walls, old cannons, and sweeping views that stretch across the valley and into the mountains beyond. Walking through its courtyards, you feel the castle is not only a monument, but also a museum of memory. Within its walls lies a military museum that displays weapons from various wars, reminding visitors of the resilience of the Albanian people. And then there's the eerie presence of the old prison, where political prisoners were once held during darker times of the nation's history. Standing inside those cells, you can't help but feel the weight of human struggle, an important reminder that even beautiful places carry scars of the past. But Gjirokastër is not defined by sorrow, it is alive with culture, tradition, and resilience. The bazaar at the heart of the city is a colorful showcase of Albanian craftsmanship. Shops spill over with hand-woven rugs, silver jewelry, wooden carvings, and intricate embroidery, all made with skills passed down through generations. Walking through the bazaar feels like stepping back into the Ottoman era, yet with a vibrancy that is very much alive today. One of the city's most remarkable aspects is its traditional homes, many of which are now museums. The Zakate House, for example, is a masterpiece of Ottoman architecture, with its high stone walls, arched windows, and elaborately decorated interiors. Entering these houses is like entering another world. The wooden ceilings, colorful frescoes, and the blend of defense and beauty in their design tell you everything about how life once was in Gjirokastër. These homes were not just shelters, they were statements of pride, resilience, and artistry. And then there's the atmosphere of the city itself. The sound of footsteps on cobblestone streets, the call of vendors in the bazaar, the aroma of traditional Albanian dishes filling the air, all of it combines to make Gjirokastër feel timeless. Life moves slowly here, and yet the city is filled with energy. Sitting in a small cafe, sipping strong Albanian coffee and looking out at the mountains, you can feel both the weight of history and the warmth of the present. Gjirokastër is also the birthplace of some of Albania's most famous figures, including the writer Ismail Kadare, whose works bring the city to life on paper. Walking through his preserved childhood home, now a museum, you gain a sense of how deeply this city has influenced not just Albania but also literature and culture far beyond its borders. As evening falls, the magic of Gjirokastër deepens. The stone houses glow softly under the fading light. The fortress casts long shadows across the valley, and the whole city seems to hum with a quiet dignity. It is a moment that lingers, one where past and present intertwine so seamlessly that you almost forget which century you're in. Gjirokastër is more than just a stop on your journey. It is a city of stories, etched in stone, carried in the air, and preserved in its people. It is a place that makes you reflect not only on Albania's history, but also on the resilience of humanity itself. Once you've walked its streets, stood in its fortress, and looked out over its valleys, Gjirokastër never truly leaves you. Imagine a city so beautiful that it looks like it has been painted onto the mountainside, where thousands of windows gleam in the sunlight, and where ancient churches and mosques stand side by side as silent witnesses of harmony. This is Berat, the legendary city of 1,000 windows, a place that feels like a living postcard of Albania's soul. As you approach Berat, the sight is unforgettable. The city rises along the banks of the Osum River, its whitewashed Ottoman houses climbing up the steep hill, their endless windows gazing out like watchful eyes. It is no wonder UNESCO declared this city a World Heritage Site. Berat is not just a city. It is a masterpiece of history and architecture. At the heart of the city stands the mighty Berat Castle, perched high above on the hill. Unlike many castles that stand empty, Berat's fortress is still alive, with families living within its stone walls just as they have for centuries. Walking through its winding streets feels like stepping back in time. The stone houses inside the fortress, the little chapels, and the ruins of old Byzantine buildings create a sense of wonder. Every turn reveals a view that takes your breath away: the river below, the red-tiled roofs, and the mountains rolling in the distance. The churches within Berat's fortress are treasures of faith and artistry. Small and humble from the outside, they are filled with magnificent frescoes and icons, painted by masters of the Byzantine era. Each painting tells a sacred story, bringing to life the devotion and creativity of the people who once worshipped here. One of the most remarkable collections is found in the Onufri Museum, named after the famous Albanian icon painter. His vivid reds and golds, his expressive faces and intricate details are among the finest examples of Orthodox art in the Balkans. But Berat is not only about churches, it is also about coexistence. This city has been a home to both Christians and Muslims for centuries, and its skyline is dotted with graceful minarets alongside domed churches. The King Mosque and the Helveti Tekke stand as beautiful reminders of Islamic architecture, their decorations and calligraphy blending perfectly into Berat's multicultural heritage. Here, tolerance and harmony are not abstract ideas. They are carved into stone and celebrated in daily life. Strolling through the Mangalam and Gorica quarters, the two historic neighborhoods of Berat, you'll feel the heartbeat of the city. Mangalam, with its cascading Ottoman houses, reflects the traditional charm of Albania. Across the river, Gorica mirrors it, connected by the elegant Gorica Bridge, a stone arch bridge that has stood since the 18th century. Crossing it at sunset, when the sky turns golden and the river glimmers, is like walking into a painting. The rhythm of life in Berat is gentle and inviting. Children play in the courtyards, elders sit outside their homes exchanging stories, and vendors at the bazaar welcome visitors with warm smiles. Every street seems alive with the echoes of history, yet it feels timeless, as if life here has remained unchanged for centuries. And of course, no visit to Berat is complete without tasting its flavors. Traditional Albanian dishes, rich with spices and slow-cooked perfection, tell their own story of heritage. Tave kosi, a baked lamb and yogurt dish, and local wine from the fertile valleys around Berat give you a taste of the land itself. Sitting in a riverside restaurant, enjoying these dishes while the city glows in the evening light, is an experience you will carry with you long after you leave. As night falls, Berat transforms into a dreamlike vision. The lights from the 1,000 windows shimmer like stars scattered across the hillside. The reflection in the Osum River doubles the magic, creating a scene so enchanting that it feels almost unreal. Standing there, you understand why poets, painters, and travelers have been captivated by Berat for centuries. Berat is not simply a stop on your Albanian journey, it is a revelation. It is a place where cultures meet without conflict, where history breathes through every stone, and where beauty is so overwhelming it feels eternal. When you walk away from this city, you don't just leave a destination, you leave a piece of your heart behind. Have you ever stood at the edge of a canyon so vast and powerful that it felt like the earth itself was alive, carving its story into stone? Welcome to the Osum Canyon, Albania's very own natural wonder, where nature's strength and beauty collide in a breathtaking display. This is not just a canyon, it is a gateway into the wild heart of the country, a place that will make you feel small, humble, and awestruck all at once. Located near the town of Çoravode, the Osum Canyon stretches for nearly 26 kilometers, with cliffs rising up to 80 meters high. As you approach it, you realize this isn't just a landscape, it's a masterpiece, carved over millions of years by the Osum River, a turquoise ribbon that snakes through the rocky gorge, giving life to everything it touches. The scale is overwhelming, and the silence broken only by the rush of water makes you feel as if time has stopped here. What makes Osum Canyon so magical is not only its size, but also its living energy. The river, especially in spring, swells with melted snow from the mountains, creating powerful currents and dramatic waterfalls that cascade down the cliffs. Locals call some of these natural formations by poetic names: the Bride's Hole, the Cathedral, and the Demon's Gate. Beach Rock. Each curve of the canyon seems to hold a legend whispered by nature itself. For adventure seekers, this canyon is a dream. Whitewater rafting down the Osum River is one of Albania's most exhilarating experiences. Imagine paddling through emerald waters, surrounded by towering cliffs, as sunlight filters through narrow passages and birds circle overhead. Every bend reveals a new surprise, a waterfall, a hidden cave, or a stretch of calm water where the canyon walls reflect perfectly, like a mirror. It's a journey that ignites adrenaline but also fills your soul with peace. But the canyon is not only about thrills, it's also about discovery. Hiking along the rim gives you a completely different perspective. Standing at the top, you can gaze across the sweeping landscapes of southern Albania, where rolling hills, forests, and distant mountains stretch endlessly. Small trails lead to lookout points that feel like secret balconies over the world. From here, you truly appreciate how immense and untouched this land is. Osum Canyon is also a place of spirituality. For centuries, locals believed its caves and cliffs were sacred, places where nature and divinity met. Even today, you can feel that energy in the air. It's no wonder that many travelers describe visiting the canyon as not just a trip, but a transformation. Being surrounded by such grandeur forces you to pause, reflect, and reconnect with something bigger than yourself. Life along the canyon is simple and authentic. Villages nearby still live at nature's rhythm, where people farm, tend to their animals, and welcome strangers with genuine warmth. Sharing a meal here is like sharing tradition itself: fresh bread, cheese, honey, and local raki, offered with kindness and pride. It's these encounters that make your journey unforgettable, because they show you the heartbeat of Albania is not just in its landscapes, but in its people. And when the day begins to end, something magical happens. As the sun sets, the canyon glows with golden light, the cliffs catching fire with color while shadows deepen in the gorge below. The Osum River reflects the fading sky, turning shades of pink, orange, and purple. Standing there, with the cool evening breeze on your face and the sound of water echoing through the valley, you realize you are witnessing one of the most perfect moments nature can create. Osum Canyon is more than a destination. It is an experience of wonder, adventure, and reflection. It reminds you that the world still holds wild places untouched by noise and chaos, places that can inspire and change you. In Albania's journey, this canyon is not just a stop. It is a highlight, a chapter of raw beauty that will stay etched in your memory forever. Have you ever reached the end of a journey and realized that what you carry home is far greater than photographs or souvenirs? It is stories, emotions, and memories that shape you forever? That is exactly what 7 days in Albania give you. This country is not just a destination on a map. It is an experience that stays alive within you long after you have left its mountains, seas, and cities behind. As your final day unfolds, it is time to reflect on everything you have seen, felt, and discovered. From the bustling streets of Tirana to the medieval walls of Krujë, from the UNESCO wonders of Berat and Gjirokastër to the untouched beaches of the Albanian Riviera, every step has revealed a different face of this nation. You have walked through ancient ruins where empires once stood. You have stood in castles where history was written in stone. You have swum in turquoise waters so pure they seemed like a dream. And you have wandered through canyons, mountains, and villages where life continues much as it has for centuries. What makes Albania so remarkable is not just its beauty, but its spirit. This is a country that has endured invasions, occupations, and isolation. Yet its people have never lost their warmth, their pride, and their hospitality. You have seen it in the smiles of cafe owners who welcomed you like family, in the laughter of children playing in cobbled streets, and in the heartfelt toasts raised with glasses of raki shared with strangers. Albania's greatest treasure is not only its landscapes but its people, their ability to make you feel like you belong, even when you are far from home. On your final evening, perhaps you return to the capital, Tirana, where it all began. You might sit in Skanderbeg Square, watching the lights of the city flicker on as life moves forward in the same unstoppable rhythm. The city feels different now, not because it has changed, but because you have. You carry within you the stories of the mountains and the sea, the voices of history and the whispers of nature. Albania has given you something rare, a journey that touches both your eyes and your soul. Imagine taking a walk along the grand park of Tirana as the night settles softly around you. The lake reflects the shimmering lights. Families stroll together, and the air is filled with the comfort of ordinary life. In this quiet moment, you realize that Albania has shown you the extraordinary through the ordinary, the magic hidden in simplicity. You didn't just see landscapes, you lived them. You didn't just visit monuments, you felt their power. You didn't just pass through villages, you connected with their heartbeat. As you prepare to leave, there is a gentle sadness, but also a deep gratitude. Albania was once called Europe's hidden gem, but for you, it is no longer hidden, it shines brightly in your memory. The roads you traveled, the meals you shared, the laughter, the adventures, the sunsets, and the silences, all of it has become part of you. You came as a traveler, but you leave as someone touched by a land that few truly understand until they walk its paths themselves. And so, the story of your 7 days in Albania closes, not with an ending, but with a beginning. Because journeys like this don't end when you go home. They live on, inspiring you to see the world differently, to seek out places where authenticity thrives, and to embrace cultures that welcome you with open arms. Albania is one of those rare places that changes you not through grandeur alone, but through truth, simplicity, and beauty. As the plane takes off, you look down one last time at the mountains fading into the distance and the coastline glowing under the sun. You whisper a quiet promise to return, because Albania is not a place you visit once, it is a place that calls you back again and again. And that is the gift of this journey. 7 days in Albania are not just a holiday, they are a memory that will never fade, a story you will tell forever. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.